We have plans to get married. Now he's interested in consensual non-monogamy and I'm not. At this point, I've read 1,000 of posts on this topic, so I'm not really sure what I'm hoping to get out of sharing this. I'm mostly writing this to see this situation more objectively for myself, but figured some public opinion could be valuable to help me either better understand the best way to handle a situation like this and make me feel somewhat supported in what's feeling like a really lonely and confusing time. My 29F boyfriend 33M of 2.5 years told me that he's pretty certain that he's interested in some form of consensual non-monogamy. We entered our relationship with the intention of monogamy. This all started with talks of threesomes, which I said I wasn't ready for a few months ago, and came to a head when we were in a city for some time with a lot of beautiful women. I'm quite observant, and we've had fights in the past when I've noticed him looking at women he found attractive and could tell he wanted them to return the attention energy. Not sure if this makes sense, but it's the best way I can explain it. This has happened a few times on dates, and in his admittance of desire for CNM. He's brought this up as well, that he's been on romantic dates with me and couldn't help but have his attention captured by another woman. It was all very heartbreaking for me to hear. Loyalty has been a core value of my life because of my past. When he brought up the prospect of CNM, it was immediately emotionally triggering for me for a couple of reasons. One, the thought of my partners desiring other partners is very challenging for me. As a kid, I witnessed my dad cheating on my mom, ended up telling her, and all hell broke loose and their marriage eventually ended. It was traumatizing to see the consequences of non-monogamy, although I'm aware cheating and consensual non-monogamy are two totally different things. 2. My boyfriend blacked out and cheated on me last year with one of his best friends that he had history with. They didn't go all the way, but they definitely crossed the line. He immediately told me my intuition already knew, said he only wanted to be with me, blocked her on everything, and we started therapy to rebuild. I had total trust for him before then, which has always been hard for me in relationships, and initially wanted to leave the relationship due to my childhood PTSD, but he swore it was a huge mistake. Therapy ended up bringing us much closer, and he proved that he was truly, selflessly dedicated to our relationship, and we moved on and we were very happy once again. Trust was reinstated. Until now. Some more things about us: we're great partners to each other. He's an amazing person that I love and respect, who listens and makes me laugh and is truly attuned to me in ways that I've never had in a relationship before. We can spend hours on end together, have a shared vision for life, our future family, politics, religion, and just overall truly like and respect each other as human beings. We're friends first, have great intercourse, are super honest and communicative with each other, and in each rupture of our relationship we've always come back together stronger and have rebuilt together. We get along great with each other's families and have just as many deep intellectual conversations as we do laughs. I've been in quite a few good happy relationships and am fortunate to have always found good men, but he's a total diamond in the rough in my eyes, and the genuine love, admiration, acceptance and friendship we have with each other is rare. However, he's always felt a bit out of reach to me in a way. He's very excited about our plans to quit our jobs and travel in the future versus being excited about marriage, family, routine. Is always interested in non-conventional things, is high adventure seeking, emotionally volatile and has a high intercourse drive. I love all of those things about him, maybe not the volatility lol, and certainly can hold my own, but admittedly, have more of a desire to settle down. Although we've discussed and agree on when we'd like to get married and have kids in the past, he's told me recently he's like to wait longer to have kids. I guess it can feel like he's always wanting more, not fully present and perhaps avoidant of growing up. When he brought up being interested in CNM, he said it was like weight was lifted because it felt like he had this secret while he was trying to understand his feelings for the past month. I should add, he's telling me this in an effort to be as honest as possible in our relationship as well as see if this is something we should explore. He has told me multiple times that if this is not something I can stomach, he would choose staying monogamous with me because being together is more important to him. However, I can see how excited and genuinely interested he is in the prospect. Our intercourse life was already great, but now he's even more reinvigorated and experimental in the bedroom. In particular, he said he's excited by the novelty, the feeling independence and not togetherness, the freedom of going out, meeting people, flirting with them and sleeping with them without me. He's also interested in threesomes, swinging etc. He doesn't want to do any of this without me, and is asking to test our boundaries. He feels like CNM feels like it would eventually make us stronger and better communicators based on the research he's read. How do I feel? Well, in shock mostly. This has all been very emotionally painful and triggering for me. To the point where when we talk about it, I have panic attacks and my body shakes uncontrollably throughout the day out of anxiety. The closest thing I can compare it to is like I'm going through a monumental breakup. We've been talking about this in depth for a week and we're at the point where I've told him that while I could be interested in a threesome and maybe try swinging, an open relationship where we pursue partners outside of our relationships is not for me. He told me he's excited at those things we can share together, but is still interested in pursuing relationships without me. Watching my father's infidelity and the way my mom had to navigate it was challenging as a child. In a way, I feel like the seeking of others is a complicated, highly individualistic and dangerous slope that eventually will not work out. It destroyed my childhood, and it's not worth the risk for me to have an arrangement like that when my future children are in the picture. I always saw a relationship and marriage as a commitment that requires some loss of autonomy and a high dedication to commitment, especially at this time in our lives, where he had plans to propose soon. We are talking marriage and changing careers to travel Europe. I feel like this time should be about us. He thinks this would be the best time to experiment. Ultimately, where we've landed is that this is clearly a highly triggering topic for me, and likely not a fit. Where I stand now is that I'm opening to investigating my thoughts, feelings, traumas and triggers around monogamy and non-monogamy, but I don't see myself ever desiring or enjoying that lifestyle. I can tell he has hopes that we will move towards CNM, and has brought up some exciting ideas to test the waters, like if I would be okay with him going to a bar and flirting and trying to pick up women without the stipulation of him being in a relationship. I'd of course be welcome to go do the same separately, but the thought of either of us doing this makes my stomach sink. I don't want to pursue other people because that feels disloyal to me. He feels like we should figure this out while we're still younger. It feels almost like there is this pressure to figure things out before a potential proposal. But with the way that I've reacted, I just can't see myself getting on board with any of this anytime soon. While he is committed to staying with me no matter what, I feel like there are no good solutions here. I don't ever want to be the person holding back the person I love from a more fulfilling life. But I can tell we want different things in this arena. He said last night that it has nothing to do with me, and that I check all the boxes for his relationship needs. I've asked him if he could find other ways to meet his needs for individualism and high extroversion, that don't include intercourse, but he said he doesn't think his desire for others will ever go away. With my past, I don't know how to be in a relationship with someone who I deeply love who wants to connect that way with others. Where I stand now, I want to go deeper with my person, not broader with others. I'm scared of what this means for us. The only solutions in my opinion are that we can 1. End the relationship now, before he proposes, cut our losses and move on before we get more enmeshed. We're both relatively successful and attractive people. I'm sure we'd both be fine in the long run, just unlikely we'll find someone as aligned in all key areas of our lives. The prospect of breaking up gives my nervous system the most peace, but true commitment takes work, right? If this is someone I want to marry, wouldn't it be the right thing to do to work things out together? 2. Test out CNN before I'm ready, basically trial by fire, so we know sooner rather than later and have our answers before getting married. We'll either enjoy it, break up, or stay together with someone making a huge compromise, which isn't a good solution at all. But either way, we'd potentially be closer to the truth and what works for us. 3. Not do CNM per my ask after giving it this much thought. If we enter a marriage, he shouldn't expect us to move towards any sort of separate intimate flirtatious relationships. I'll know I'll be marrying someone who desires others, which will make me insecure, and he'll be marrying someone that holds his intimate freedom back. One or both of us will potentially end up unhappy. I know he's a good man, but let's be honest, this could lead him to pursuing his desires without my consent. I'm at a loss for what to do here, and I guess only time will tell. Again, I'm not sure what my goal is of sharing this. If you have any good advice, similar experiences and how you got through it, or words of support, share, I'd really appreciate it. TLDR, we've been in a monogamous relationship and want to get married. He's interested in consensual non-monogamy, I'm not, and I'm now having a really hard time coming to terms with our difference in desires and how to move forward. A man who already cheated on you is telling you he wants you to consent to him sleeping with other people. He's asking to test your boundaries, not explore intimacy together and cancel it all if it doesn't work for you. You don't have to move forward,